What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Lamont Tyson, repping politics of being Black in America. And what you see as a title is true. Dating, death, taxes. Which one is worse in 2026? I am supposed to have a panel. If they don't show up, I've been doing this thing for about a decade now. I got it. But please be sure to subscribe until we wait and see if they pop in. If you guys didn't know, I have started doing my stock channel, going live every day, win by losing in stocks. Please feel free to come on through, give your boy a watch. And if you decide that you like the way I trade, you like my system, it's nothing for you to get a one-on-one. The link is in the video description. So I was going to save the dating for last because that can, depend upon your situation, that could be the fun subject, or it could be the worst subject. And I've got some clips of some comments that were made by different people about how bad it is and their feelings about being out and about dating. But before we get into that, we've got to talk about someone who almost died again. That's the death part of this video. He almost died. And I think at this point in time, ladies and gentlemen, we just got to be honest. This person should not be driving no more. He might have to quit golf. Take a look at this.
Mr. Woods, get you to hang out down here with us, please.
Thank you so much. All right, you got it. All right, thank you. Bye. Say again?
Just keep you down here with us, please.
Yeah, I was just talking to the president. Try to get away from everybody.
Did y'all catch that? The man said, I'm chatting with the president. I take so much offense to that. Tiger Woods no longer needs to be near anything that has driving in the sentence. He don't need to be using his driver for golf. He don't need to have a driver in his car. He needs to quit driving. He needs to stay away from anything called driving. Because this is this man's third time that in my lifetime that he's flipped the car over or had some damage done to a car because he was drunk. And now he's about to scapegoat his way out of this one because he called the president. And when I saw the coverage on the news, I was saying to myself, okay, his car is flipped over. Nobody else was involved. And they're trying to say potentially DWI. And I'm like, potentially? What does potentially mean? You get a breathalyzer, they do a test on the spot. You know whether he's drunk or not. And now we know why, ladies and gentlemen, because he made a call to the president and was able to weasel his way up out of there. But you guys let me know what you think. Should Tiger Woods stay away from driving? Absolutely. Put that 7-iron down, buddy. No more driving for you. And does it not infuriate you, the level of nepotism some people feel like they are afforded or that they must have, that when they get in trouble and they break the law, because they're famous or rich or both, they get to do something that the average person can't do. And this is what I want you guys to wake up to. It's not just that form of injustice. It's also the next subject we're going to cover, is form of injustice, financial injustice, where people get to the point where they capitalize on the money of everybody in the system. The rich people do. They capitalize on all our money. And then they tell middle class and poor not to do the same thing, all while the people who contribute the most money to income taxes are those who have no assets. So folks, we got to wake up, which brings me to the next subject, the tax part of the subject. Let's take a look at some research that was done that can kind of let us know what's been going on in the tax situation in America.
Is it right that those making under $184,500, their effective payroll tax rate is roughly 12.4%?
That's right.
What is the effective payroll tax for someone making $1 million a year?
So they would pay the 12.4% on that first $185,000 roughly, and then would not pay additional tax on labor income above that amount. And so that math would work out to about 2.2%.
What if you're a billionaire like Trump or Musk? Your Social Security tax would be effectively, on my understanding,
Very, very much smaller.
0.0002.
Yes.
That just doesn't make sense to me. And when the richest people in the country have the smallest effective tax rate, that does not seem to me like a very fair system.
Well, I'll tell you why it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense because the tax structure was written to benefit the people at the top. And it's time that we reform it. And when I say reform, I mean break it down to the bone gristle and build it back up so that instead of us paying a progressive tax on the way up, you can do something where it regresses. So you start out in the beginning not having to pay a lot of tax, and as you go up is when your taxes should increase. So many people get screwed trying to start a business, risk capital, get out in the marketplace. Let's say the first 2 or 3 years the business is not doing good. You're making it, but you're not doing good. One of your biggest liabilities is going to be you having to pay taxes. And taxes is one of the only debts you have that in this country will take your butt to jail. Taxes and child support. And so it is frustrating to me when you hear how folks who have a lot of assets are able to circumvent income because they'll have their money paid into the asset, pay like a 15% rate, and not have to pay the income tax, which does FICA, Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare. They get to avoid all that because they take low interest loans out on their assets, and there's no such thing as taxing a loan. Ladies and gentlemen, stop falling for the banana in the tailpipe from the rich people. Stop falling for them telling you when you get help from the government, it's socialism, because they're being a hypocrite. Elon Musk, he would not be a billionaire had it not been for all the money 3 or 4 administrations have given him to do SpaceX, Tesla, and all the other stuff he's doing. Amazon, would their CEO be a billionaire? Probably not. They get huge tax breaks. It makes no sense to me, and I will use this from now to the time I kick the bucket, unless it changes. It makes no sense to me that Amazon, a multi-billion-dollar company, can come into this local community that has been upstayed by mom and pops, holding up the community for 20, 30, 40 years, barely making it. But when Amazon come, you want to give them $1 million tax breaks. You want to give them 10 years, no taxes. When that same money, for the same reasons Amazon would use it for, could be better served by the people already in the local community. Some people would argue, well, Amazon might attract new people. If those same people that would get the money in the local community could have that to expand their business, they could get new people too. There's no excuse for it. I hear Republicans who are entertained all the time trying to make pretty excuses for the way the system is. And there is no excuse. If we don't want to get to the point where we're in civil war with each other, and it's getting close, folks is working 3-4 jobs and still can barely make it. It's getting close. We have got to do something about tax reform. We've got to get money and lobbyists out of voting. And we've got to flip-flop the tax system that we currently have because it is not benefiting the American people. So that was the tax part. So now, ladies and gentlemen, let us get to the dating part. Oh, boy. I watch a lot of TikTok when it comes to like dating and the way people feel about dating and just the kind of the split that's happening nowadays. Now, I'm old school. I'm 40-something years old. And when I was coming up, there was no social media, which I think kind of skews the view of dating. There was no, you could just turn to Instagram, see all these beautiful people, and possibly think you could get with any of them. And then I think that some people don't realize, or some people get into this notion of, because I see all these beautiful people, I can pull me anything I want. But seeing these beautiful people and then getting access to these beautiful people is 2 different things. And so I want you guys to take a look at a video that is what sucked me in, where a girl basically was saying some dude tried to holler at her and he looked like something on the bottom of her shoe. And I'm a big supporter of the women's movement, but at times I do think that there are some places where they have overcorrect. For example, you go to the gym, you see these beautiful women wearing things that reveal their nice physiques, and you casually want to go speak to them. Some people nowadays are afraid because they think they're going to be ridiculed, or they're going to be called out of their name, or they're going to be insinuated as some stalker or whatever this girl was saying. So take a look and then we'll break it on down.
Nothing pisses me off more than when a man that looks like the shit on the bottom of my shoe is like, hey, can I take you out?
And that's what I mean by delusion. That's what I mean by delusion. That's why a lot of you are still single. That's why y'all be getting cheated on. Because you refuse this guy who asked you out properly because he ain't that cute. Yeah, you're gonna go out with the fucking bum who probably has like a six-pack, got no fucking job, ends up cheating on you. Then you complain that all men is shit, right? And then you talk about how men need to love women no matter what, how they look, how they act. You need to love them. Some of y'all need to get the fuck out of this delusion, honestly, and grow the fuck up and get rid of that nasty ass entitlement that y'all have. This shit is sickening.
Follow that girl on TikTok. She's amazing. She's funny, and that accent of hers, like she's from the Bronx in New Jersey. But anyway, the girl that was saying, why would somebody approach her who looks like something? This is the girl. Now, she did make a video apologizing that she was joking. I don't believe that. I don't believe that chick was joking, not one bit. And beauty is in the eye of the beholder, for sure. Because for her to be talking about the way somebody else looked, I mean, you do the math here. Not to mention, and I know some women don't want to hear this, when you dress a certain way, it is going to attract a certain level of attention, if not more attention. And attention is not a bad thing if you are aware that you're going to get the attention. It becomes a bad thing when you are harassed. Someone who's stepping to you correct, polite, I'm assuming like homeboy did her. Why he got to be the poop on the bottom of your shoe to the point where you got to run on social media and say it? This is another picture of the same girl now. How would she feel if somebody took pictures, went to her social media and said, shoot, that's an easy lay. She a hoe. We don't know that about her. We shouldn't be saying that about her. And at the same time, if you are thinking that, keep it to yourself. You don't got to go run on social media like she did to tell somebody that she thought somebody was ugly. And at the end of the day, folks, I'm 100% sure that when you're dating, everybody wants someone that they are attracted to a degree. And attraction is subjective. It's subjective to the individual, however you want to do it. But you've got to give the attraction, the physical attraction, some space for who the person is. Because my grandma used to say all the time, everything that look good ain't good for you. And I've learned that the hard way. But sometimes things that don't look as good could be the best thing for you. And for me, at my age, what attracts me probably even more than a physical appearance is the way somebody behaves. Can I trust you? Are you loving? When you say you're going to do something, do you do it? If you say you want to hang out with me and I can't make it this particular day, are you willing to, flex and go another day? If me and you get close, have an intimate session, be honest with me if that's something you want to continue doing. So a lot of the things that we want, most people want when it comes to dating, we're not getting because people are too busy being con folks on social media. They're stunting. They're stunting like they daddy on social media instead of just being real with you. And at the end of the day, folks, looks do fade. Personalities can evade, meaning someone can up their personality. Nobody can change the way they look unless you're willing to go under the knife. And I say all that to say, just be the best person you can be, regardless of your current physical circumstances. Yes, there's looks involved in dating, but I truly believe there are multiple somebodies for everybody. You just got to find them. And if you keep shooting people down, not even just seeing if they're polite, because I do think that a person's behavior can enhance the way they look. It can enhance. I know for sure I've dated women that physically were 10s, but after I got to know them for like 3 or 4 weeks, their asses was 1-. And I quit talking to them, because it don't matter how good you look, your behavior can, superficially and other problems make it worse. And so you guys let me know what you guys are thinking about dating in this day of an age, and what's worse for you: death, taxes, or dating. For me, I'm gonna say death, because I don't want to die right now. My son is 2 and he's coming into his own. My daughter is 5. She has been in her own. And there's so many more things, gifts I feel like I have to give to the world, to other people, to be a blessing. So many other things I haven't accomplished, so many more things I want to do to be blessings to others and my children, that death would be the worst one for me. Dating, I honestly feel like I'll meet somebody nice one of these days, all that type of stuff. I honestly feel like there are more than one people for everybody. Everybody. You just got to keep speaking, keep getting out. And even when you get dissed by chicks like this, who are in no position to be calling somebody else out their pocket, when look how she's trying to let you get in her back pocket, you got to just let it roll off your back. Like the water rolls off a seal, let it roll off your back. Well, that's going to do it for this video. Don't forget to like the video, comment, and subscribe. Uh-oh. Hold on just a second. I am talking to my boy Larry. Let me try to do this again. He said that I sent out the wrong link. That was my special guest. So let me try this again. All right, Larry, hold up. I just saw your message, and I am going to try to do this again so that y'all can get in here and say something. Hold on just a second. Y'all bear with me. I'm trying to get Living Legend in here. There's Larry. And give me just a second, because I for sure thought that they wasn't going to show up. And lo and behold, they are in here. Hold on, y'all. I'm coming. I don't know how y'all got the wrong link. I'll take that one on the chin if it's my fault. But give me just a second. And let's see what y'all got to say. All right, so I just sent an email. If you guys can check your email, you should see where I just sent it. And then you guys can hop on with me. And we can chat it up, because I would love to hear what you guys think about dating in today's society. Honestly, that's the opinions I wanted to hear. And see, because I know Larry has got a lot to say about this. He's always talking about what's going on when he's out and about, just doing his thing. All right, you two, if you're still in there, I just resent the link. I have no idea how I sent you guys the wrong link. I asked you to forgive it to me. Don't charge it to my heart. Charge it to the fingers. Fingers messed up on me. All right, so here's one. What's going on, Larry?
Hey, what's going on, man? How you feeling?
I'm good. I have no idea how that link. I'm using the same one. I don't know how y'all got a bad link. So
Yeah,
I apologize for that.
I was waiting. I was like, where is he? And then I thought I said 2 people in the studio chat, so I thought maybe you were in there, and then your other guest answered. So I was like, man, I guess we both got the wrong link.
Well, I hope she's able to pop on in real quick, because I thought that y'all had got busy. I was about to wrap the show up.
No, but I can only stay for about 10-15 minutes because I have to dip out. I have to go pick up my father-in-law from the airport. I was hoping I was going to be able to stay for about 30 minutes, but since it took a little while to get in, so
okay, here she is. Hey, special guest. Sorry about, I don't know how I sent you the wrong link, but we're happy to have you in here now.
Uh-oh, can't hear her.
If you can hear us, we can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Okay, thanks. Sorry about that.
You're good. I'm Lamont. That's Kesha. That's Larry. I found her because she was giving some good hot takes on dating, men and women. She's with a wonderful program that she does with her dad. And if you don't mind telling us a little bit about it, please drop us a promo, man. Let us know why we should be down for the organization you and your dad are doing.
Oh yeah, so thanks for having me on again. For anyone who doesn't know, my name is Keisha Richardson. I do the Caris Project with my father. It's we started it at the beginning of the pandemic, sometime during the pandemic, because obviously mainstream media was lying about a lot of things that were going on like every single level. So we kind of made it to be a voice for the voiceless. And so we have a lot of different things that we talk about on there. Like, we're whistleblowers. My father, he does mechanical engineering. He's got a bachelor in mechanical engineering. He's done a lot of research on that. So we do talk a lot about like crimes that were like exacerbated during the pandemic, and to let people come on and share their experiences of anything that they've gone through, or even like in the family courts, like a lot of children were being taken from their parents during this time, and people were losing their jobs and their homes and all sorts of stuff. So literally anything that happened during the pandemic or was exacerbated as a result of the failures during the failing of the pandemic response is kind of like what we cover on there. And so that goes into family, law, science, health, spirituality, like religion, literally everything. And sometimes I do talk about like relationship aspect stuff, because people just ask my opinion on things, and I'll just give my opinion based on my experience. Obviously I'm still young, but I just say things based on like either what the principles of the Bible and how like I try to apply them to my life. Obviously no one is perfect, but we do what we can, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's kind of what it is. And I named it after my little sister Caris, because she was taken from us for whistleblowing, and we haven't seen her in about like 6 years. And yeah, so.
Whoa. And I tried to do my homework. I must have missed that episode. Like, and I can't laugh at that because I've got 2 young kids and I'm an older person. I waited till I was in my 40s to start having kids. So I'm just thinking, if I were to lose either one of them, my son is 2, my daughter's 5.
Oh, wow.
How I would feel. I don't think I would be smiling. You was actually able to smile in the midst of something that's that traumatic. Are y'all still looking for her? Have y'all, like, where's that at, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, so like, I mean, you have to smile in the face of your enemies, you know what I mean? Like, when evil is coming your way, you can't let, everything get you down. We are actively working towards solutions though. So like I said, like everything that we've experienced, we've used it as kind of like a blueprint for other people to try and help them as well. So we've been using this to help other people. My dad actually, he had the same thing happen with me when I was a kid. I was unlawfully taken from my dad and made a permanent ward of the crown for like 3.5 years. He was studying, he wanted to be a neurosurgeon. He had to give up school to like try and get me back. And he was only like 22 years of age at the time. And he had to fight for like 3.5 years. So he was one of 2 people to get his child out of permanent ward of the crown. And that was like in the 90s. And, you know, the other one was a woman. So that says, yeah, the other one was a woman. Like I say to people all the time, it shows a lot who my dad is. So like when this happened with my sister, he kind of already knew like the blueprint of how to fix the problem. But because he was a whistleblower, it was exacerbated to like the nth degree. And so he knows how to help people go through this process and actually win, because he done it himself, and he's one of the only people actually who was able to do it. So my sister, we are still trying to get her back. Unfortunately, like for my dad, the work that he had to do to get me back, he's had to do like 1,000-fold and still unable to get my sister back. And it's absolutely ridiculous. Like it's the courts, when the courts decide it's against you, and when the government decides that it's against you, especially, I will say, especially like when you are an intelligent Black man and a Christian, like a Christian as well, like you're just, I mean, it's the things that you will see happen to those people because it goes against the narrative, and they don't want something that goes against the narrative. So unfortunately, we haven't been able to get her back yet, but we're still trying. She's 7 years old now. And I have no idea what she looks like. They won't give us phone calls. They won't give us pictures or audios. They won't give us visits. And my dad has to pay child support for a child that he has not seen since she was 16 months of age. Like if I saw her walking in the street, I had no idea that it was her. So, yeah.
Wow. But thank you for that revelation and being candid enough to share that story with us. And audience, please go show her some love. Her link to her TikTok is in the video description. Link to her organization is also in the description. Larry, is anything you want to say to this young woman, but she's got an old soul and she's hard grizzled through just the trials and tribulations of life? And shout out to your dad for having the compunction and gumption to, through it all, still hang in there and fight for what he believes in and not giving up and just being a stalwart. What do you want to say, Larry?
Wow, that's a lot. Stay strong.
It is a lot.
You know,
it is a lot.
I mean, stay strong. It's, I mean, no one wants to see families broken up. I feel like it's always better to keep people together. So,
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to get you guys to more of a, I don't want to say lighter note, because there's nothing we can't go behind that, ladies and gentlemen. There's no way we can go behind that. Not today. And so I want to talk a little bit about the state of dating. So this video was entitled Death, Dating, Taxes 2026, Which One is Worse? And because I messed up and I did y'all's time wrong, I have to bring y'all back. But I'm going to go ahead and dive into the dating. And folks, if I've never shown you a clip of this young woman, let me show you a clip of something that got me sucked into the TikTok dating algorithm. Take a look at this.
Nothing pisses me off more than when a man that looks like the shit on the bottom of my shoe is like, hey, can I take you out?
And that's what I mean by delusion.
We'll stop it right there. Larry, I'll give you the floor first. Now, let me give you some context here, right? For her to be talking about what somebody else looked like, Larry, take a look at this. This is her. This is her TikTok. This is her. Now, you know, clearly, no matter, and I'm a big supporter of the feminist movement, but sometimes I feel like the feminist movement overcorrects, because if she was wearing this and this garnered her more attention than if she was wearing sweats and baggy pants, because women can get attention no matter what they wear. But some things are going to garner you more attention. But having said that, Larry, for her to talk about somebody else's level of attractiveness, I mean, I wouldn't touch her with an Oreo cookie. But that's just me, you know, it's subject to me. What do you think about her callousness about someone who sounded like he stepped to her correct, and then she basically came on social media and made it seem like he done something wrong?
I mean, you know, you have so many of these people that get up there and they want to say stuff that's mean and cruel, and I think they just do it for the clicks, to be honest with you, because maybe they don't think somebody is like their attractiveness equal, but rarely is that the case. I mean, it's if you go out there and look at the world, when you see people together, you don't generally see like two really beautiful people together. There's always somebody that's like more beautiful than the other. And sometimes sometimes it's a woman who's more beautiful than the man, and she's with him because he's funny or because he's muscular or he's rich or he's powerful, or the man may be with, a woman who's not as beautiful, because maybe she provides peace and happiness and love and whatever it is he needs in his life. I think when you look at stuff on a very surface level, it's easy to say that, but I think this is the problem with it. Most people, when looks and stuff are most important, is when they're young, and when you're young is probably when you're the least capable of making it in a totally informed and intelligent decision on a lifelong partner. So,
I got you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Larry's got to go. He's going to pick up a parent, even at his young age of 36 years old, ladies and gentlemen.
I wish.
He's still going to help the in-laws and the parents. So, Larry, we'll see you next week, my brother. It's good to have you here. I'm sorry I kind of messed up y'all's schedule. I'll do better next time.
Yeah, bring us back for a full hour on this, man. I got stuff to say. Ooh.
I know you do,
get me talk about dating, boy.
Yeah,
dating
and
women nowadays, because I'll tell you, don't get me wrong. I mean, I love women. I used to think I was a feminist. I used to think that I don't know about feminists, but I used to think I was down for the feminist movement. I'm not so sure I am anymore. I think like the more you look at this whole sort of feminist movement and the way women talk about, I want this, I want that, I want to be able to do anything men can do, the more women seem to be unhappy. The more they end up on antidepressants, the more they seem to really just they're just not happy. I mean, I think that there are particular roles that men and women play in society. And I understand that people want to have the freedom to move about in, wherever they want to go. But the more I see women that are, as they want to say, embracing their independence and going out and becoming boss babes and all that stuff, it seems like they're generally unhappy. And I don't know if that is if that's the case for all of them, but from what I see out there, I'm not telling women to stay in their place. I'm just saying there are certain roles that each gender plays. And when one group starts to veer out of those roles, I think it just throws the whole balance off and people become unhappy. And I don't think you're going to get that happiness back until the balance is restored. Now, I've said that. I'm not giving anybody else a chance to respond because I have to go.
All right.
Well, we'll catch you next week if we all come back.
Just keep your ears on, because now you get to hear the woman's response to what we both said. So just keep your ears on, and we'll see you next time.
All right, we'll do.
Bye, Larry.
All right. So what are you thinking when you hear her say that? You heard my rebuttal. You hear his rebuttal. You are a woman. You have a tight relationship with your father. You obviously have a good relationship with Faith too. How does that hit you to hear those comments?
So she's essentially saying like she doesn't think unattractive people should approach her, kind of.
That's what it seems like.
Honestly, when it comes to like dating, so the way that I function, like I'm not a feminist. I don't believe in that. Actually, if anyone looks into first wave feminism, they'll know that they were actually Nazis and eugenicists. Elizabeth Cady Stanton was one of them, one of the women who made the Woman's Bible, and she, with also Amelia Bloomer, Annie Besant, Helena Petrovna Blavatsky, all of these people were first wave feminists that worked together, and they were wealthy women who were not working class normal women. Like they had fathers in society who were very high up in society, which gave them the ability to go around doing this nonsense, and made the working class families, like the women of those regular class families, do all the footwork for them while they sat around and just pushed their agenda. They also said that once they get rid of men and God, that women will come to their full realization, and they actually believed that Lucifer, the devil himself in the Garden of Eden, would deliver them from man and God. So I will never be a feminist. If you look at the core of all of their foundations, they believed in abortion, and they also believed in free sex and having multiple partners for themselves as women, and all these other things. They believed in the trans ideology because they were talking about androgyny, and that's actually when women started wearing pants for the first time in history. There were people like doctors who said like this is unacceptable because obviously your extremities should never be open to the air, your stomach, your wrists, your ankles, your neck, and things like that, and your back, your lower back, because it can cause certain diseases that are irreversible. And they wanted to wear male-centered clothing and also bring up their clothing more and more and more until they started wearing less and less. So they were so rebellious that other women who were raging feminists actually kicked them out of the feminist. Some of the first wave feminists, like Elizabeth Cady Stanton, was so bad that the first wave feminists kicked her out because it was getting too far beneath the point of paganism. But anyways, as it stands to what this woman is saying particularly, when it comes to dating, I think courting for marriage, and as a Christian, I'm going to do things more intentionally. So the people I let into my life, it's going to be with intention. I allow whatever man that comes to me, whether I'm interested in them or not. When a man approaches me, I tell them, I defer to my father. Please message my father about what your concern is with me, because I actually don't know you. You could be Ted Bundy. You actually don't deserve access to me as a woman because I don't know you. So I need to go through my father to protect me in case you're going to do something wrong to me. And it's the same thing if I was married. Once I actually get married, if a man approached me, I'd be like, speak to my husband, because I don't know what your intention is. And just because you say one thing to me doesn't mean that's what it actually is. So that's the first point of contention. If the person actually passes that and they speak to my father, he vets them, and I actually like them, then I'll go through this process of getting to know them. If my father thinks that we could be matched, like we could be aligned, because my father is going to determine that, because he has the agency of men. He understands men. I don't. God made men to be the head of the homes and to be the protectors and the providers. And men have a different understanding of things than women do. We are equal in our value and in our importance, but we have different roles. We cannot do each other's roles. We will fail if we try to do each other's roles. And that's kind of the mess we're going in. However, I do think it is important when you go with someone, you have to be attracted to them. You have to sleep next to this person for the rest of your life. I think that's how you get infidelity. You get people who are fantasizing about other people committing infidelities against you. You need to be attracted, but a lot of people, I think the problem today, they're mated, but they're not matched. So to be mated means that you're attracted to the person. Visually, you have like a stimulus attraction to them. But matched means that you're aligned intellectually, emotionally, value-wise, principally, and on a deeper level. You guys can have an actual conversation, and you can work together as a team. You can become one with that person. And I think a lot of people date based on, oh, I'm mated with this person, I'm attracted to this person, but they have nothing in common with that person at all. Like you said, I think it was you or the other guy said that they might go with someone just because they have loads of money or whatever else, or they just look good or whatever. But that's not how you actually have a successful relationship with someone. Like, you can't build a successful relationship just on money or attraction. You actually have to be aligned with somebody.
I agree with most of what you're saying. I kind of echoed, there's got to be some level of attraction, but I think that the physical attraction that gets you there is not what's going to sustain you.
Right.
You're talking to someone who was married for 15 years and going through a divorce. And through those 15 years, the physical attraction wasn't just what sustained the marriage. There was trust, there was growth, there was redefining who you are. There was that mental, physical connection that went beyond just what we look like type of thing. So I agree with that. Right. And the only question I would ask you is like this: when you talk about the feminist movement and you talk about its origins, do you feel like that origin is still running the organization today? And I ask you that because I oftentimes come across people who don't like Democrats, and they'll say, do you know Democrats are the one who used to beat the slaves, the Southern Dixiecrats, all that, but don't want to tell people that Republicans and Democrats flip-flop during the Civil Rights Movement. So the things that they believe in are not the same anymore. Could that be the same thing with the feminist movement? Maybe it started one way, but it has evolved to be something different.
Absolutely not, because an ideology will always produce the same result. The ideology that you follow is the actions that are going to be demonstrated because you are doing something based on a certain line of thinking. Your thinking produces your actions. God is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. God, the ideology that God presents in the Bible will produce certain characteristics in a Christian as Jesus exemplifies to us in his life. We are supposed to produce the fruits of the Spirit from following the ideologies, the principles, and the values, the precepts, the commandments of God. The thing that is built, that feminism is built on, the precepts and values and principles, the core foundation of feminism is built on Satanism, paganism, theosophy, and eugenicism. Eugenicists, Satanism, like Luciferianism, theosophy, all sorts of like deep-seated demonic pagan practice and literal witchcraft, all sorts of things. Like, and they say this openly. They say these things openly. They even said, how dare they give Uncle Sambo the vote before me? And the reason why black men started getting less rights is because the black men used to be able to vote, even, and white women and women couldn't vote. But they were like, how dare you give Uncle Sambo the vote before me? And they actually started doing everything they could to destroy minority men and cut off minority men's ability to have rights as men, to uplift white women in position so they could be above white men, because ultimately the only one that was standing in the way of white women were white men. So they had to take everyone else out so that they could just not have the support. The men could not have the support they needed as men to keep their position as men. And then eventually they turned the minority women against the minority men and got them to do the footwork for them in society so they could continue to do what they wanted. They wrote about this very openly. They agreed with whether people believe in Nazi Germany happening or not, whether they believe it or not. These women used to wear swastikas. They used to work with the KKK and talk about this openly. They used to post pictures, like they would take pictures and do these things, like, you know, back when they had the old time photos or whatever. And they actually said that this is what was important for the structure of society. They didn't like black people. They didn't like disabled people. If you were of any class that is considered for eugenicist or Nazi and all these things, you had to go. In their books, you had to go, and you didn't deserve to live. So you can never have something that was built on such level of wicked, deep-seated, demonic ideology and have something good come out of it, because you're not building something on a good foundation. Nothing can ever stand on a good foundation. So as we see, all the feminist women today, what do they want? They want all the benefits of a husband, but none of the responsibility of being a wife. And the men that take on a lot of the feminist ideology as well, they want all the benefits of being a husband, but not the responsibility of being a husband. And so it's a twofold thing, because it makes you superior and the victim at the same time. There's no level of accountability, and it blinds you to the reality, because it makes women believe, feminists believe, I can go here and not have anything bad happen and put myself in danger and not have anything bad happen. Men don't even think that way. A man will not go to a place that he doesn't think he can defend himself and get himself messed up in the head on substances, because he knows he's at a disadvantage. Men think in war, like every time they leave the house, I could potentially not make it back home. Women just don't live in that reality. But feminism makes women believe that you could take your child to a park full of predators and they shouldn't touch your kid. Now, in reality, legally, yeah, they shouldn't. Your child should be free. At the same time, you need to have enough sense to realize this is a park full of predators. Why would I go to the devil's ground and tempt them and then be like, put my child in danger, and then say, oh, well, you shouldn't have touched my child? Okay, well, theoretically, that's true, but that is also a dangerous, vile human being that doesn't care about the law or reason. Like, this is what they seem to fail to understand, and they don't understand that actually putting themselves under the protection of their fathers and their husband is a safety net. It's safety, because there's no reason, there's no way that anyone can convince, there's no demonstration even of women in society that are actually beating men at chess. It just doesn't exist anywhere, no matter what level of society that we have. women are not ever beating men at chess. And if that was true, women would not be begging men to fight, to put the ideology of feminism forward for them. They would just put men in the circumstances to force their hand, and they would just get the job done. And that's not happening, and it never will.
Well, we're going to have this discussion. I have so many thoughts, but I've run my time over. We're going to have to sync this up again so I can come back and we can all have this grand discussion, because this not only ties into probably some of the reasons why I think that the concepts of dating and approaching men and women are skewed along with social media. It also talks about just the core values that are not what it used to be. And I think it's worth a longer discussion. And I would love to have you guys come back maybe in a week or so when we all can be on my schedule, and I can make sure I send the right link this time. So audience, if you love what she's talking about, her link is definitely in the video description. I will beg her and her father to come back. Maybe we can even get the father up here to kind of talk to he's experienced. I would love to see him. And we make it a good time, and we just have a good conversation of back and forth, and we'll go from there. So tell the people what's going on your TikTok this week, and we'll see if we can get you back in about a week.
Yeah. So sometimes I go on stream and I talk about some of these things because, like you said, there's I go on stream kind of every day on TikTok and talk about like these things with people who come in the comments, because like you said, there is like a whole like bunch of levels to, and we have gotten really far away from the original thing. And for me, one of the most important things, I think I always talk about like Genesis 3:16. And as a woman, like this is important because men, they talk about how they're motivated by, you know, different things. Men don't really care about feelings as much. They're just like, what needs to be done, what's effective, what's efficient for my family, protecting and things like that. Whereas a woman, Genesis 3:16, I point out a lot of time because God says in there, after they sinned, he gives to Eve the consequence, I will greatly multiply your sorrows. And then he gave her 4: sorrow in conception, sorrow in childbirth, sorrow in her desire for her husband, and then sorrow in him ruling over her. And so these are all the main problems that women talk about in feminism. But these, if women choose to sorrow these 4 things and in the way that God intended us to, so that we could be reminded of the value of working together with men and women as a team and becoming one flesh truly, if we actually choose the hard thing to sorrow in those things, the greatest value comes of it. Because like I said, my father, he gave me the foundation so that when I got older and I started to actually get into different relations with men or whatever, start getting to know men, they could bring out the best in me when I started to experience those things. And a woman doesn't come to her full realization or her fullest potential unless she decides to suffer those sorrows, because that will open her mind to new things in ways that she's never experienced before, because women live through the world through emotions. And we need to feel something to understand something, whereas men look at the world through circumstances, steps, and order and structure, like logic and reason. Like they see things in a step-by-step plan, whereas women are like, I need to feel this experience to understand that it's real. So those 4 sorrows make things real. It will make God real to you. It will make life real to you. You'll understand the value of family. You'll understand the plan of salvation. And there was one experience I had where, you know, with love, like feeling love, that actually brought all that out of me and made me really understand the true value of God's plan of salvation, the importance of family, and why we need to work together and actually be a unit, one flesh as man and woman, and why our roles individually are important. Because unless the man is doing his job and the woman's doing her job, he'll never have his full experience, and she will never, you know, reach her full understanding of who God is. So yeah, I appreciate. Yeah. So thank you again for having me on. And if anyone wants to check out my TikTok, my link's down there, and you can come join the live stream and ask some questions. Sometimes we can talk.
Please do, ladies and gentlemen. It'd be an interesting time, and I will make sure I announce when we get back and we can have a good panel, a good discussion. See, we can all learn from each other, and hopefully we can get her dad back up. He sounds like he's an amazing hero, honestly. And I would just love to hear some of his points and thoughts about what's going on, because it's a wild day out there, ladies and gentlemen. But when you want to come get some calm and peace, check out her TikTok. It'll make you feel good. And that's going to do it for this video. Don't forget to like the video, comment, subscribe. I will let you guys know when I can get them back. so we can have a longer discussion. Until that next video, folks, I'll see you guys Monday for stocks. I'll be back then. We'll see you.
Bye.
See you.
I'm up early for the dealers come out. Everybody is outside till the killers come out. You ain't eating, you just act full. I'm impactful. Dozen funerals in a month. I got that pull. I will give it to niggas in all rap forms. Ignatius out right now on all platforms.